Ladies and gentle people, we're back for another exciting time here because we're watching Clash of the Immortals playoff season here. Main event. This is not the first round, but the second round. So players have already won their one series, and these are the winners. So they're the big dogs today. In the top of the map, in the red color, playing as Poseidon. His name is Grass. On the right-hand corner of the map, playing as Set. His name is Kimo. We're on the map Step here. Whole bunch of relics on the map, a whole bunch of things to talk about as we're going to be jumping into this one. Already did a little bit of pre-game shenanigans, but let's have a little bit of a look at these things. We've got text of Imhotep over here with a build time minus 10%. On this right-hand corner, we've got Nose of the Sphinx with the building hit points being plus 15%. On the top of the map here, we have Canopic Jar of Imseti with the train time minus 25% on infantry. And on the top of the map, we have 9 Cauldrons. This one is a really, really nice relic for Kimo. For Grass, we're probably not going to be seeing the Tyroi. Generally speaking, it's a little bit rare for that. But I guess it is possible for that to happen. But nonetheless, now let's talk about the matchup. Grass here is a player that we don't get to see very often. Grass, he doesn't play any ladder, basically. Very, very little ladder, and mostly just spends time playing custom games against other strong players. So realistically, nobody really knows what he plays. We know that he loves the Norse gods. He went for basically all Norse gods last week. This week it's a little bit more variety. He's got some Greeks in his pool. He's got some Atlanteans. He's also got those Norse gods as well as the temple's getting dropped down for Grass. But yes, this is the way that he goes. We don't really know much about him. Kimo, on the other hand, we know a lot about. He plays a lot of ladder. He streams his games. He's got to be the fan favorite for this game, just based on his never die attitude. He is one of the most grueling players to play against because he just, like I said, he just never gives up and he never surrenders. And most of the time he finds wins where a lot of players otherwise don't. However, we're going to be watching Set versus Poseidon. I've heard a lot of players say that this matchup is Poseidon favored. Now let's talk about why that players might believe that this is the case and where maybe Kimo might be able to find himself some advantage. So first and foremost, it's very, very difficult to rush up a town center if you have a suboptimal build as Set. So what I mean by a suboptimal build is, I mean any advance time after 4 minutes. Why? Because it's going to be enough time for the Poseidon player to get their Hippias to the position where you're building your town center. It can be very, very difficult to stop that. And we are seeing a relatively quick advance time here from Grass, but not crazy fast. It's a 3:45, which is still going to be quick enough to punish, say, a 4:15 or a 4:30 from Kimo. Kimo, on the other hand, he's advancing actually quite late, so he's not getting that 4-minute advance time. He's only putting the temple down now. So he is most likely not going to be going for a fast second town center. Instead, he's got 2 monuments up. He's going for a later advance here. He's going to be going into his bag of either Wadjet or Anubis into this game. Now, Anubites against against Atalanta, the Poseidon hero, a little bit lackluster. You can deal with those fairly easy. Plus, on top of that, Hippias are really, really good at sort of just fighting the Anubites. But it does depend on how the other players are going to play, and we'll see. Now, Grass at the moment, he's got a lot of villagers on gold, not so many on wood, so this is indicating he's probably going to be going for some sort of a one town center play as the center going to pop out. He's going to be getting his Atalanta out as well, and he is just going to be sending his units straight over to start harassing Kimo. Now, Kimo, very, very late advance time, Anubis to come through. He's got the lumber camps coming down. He's putting houses on the back of his base here. This is very, very bizarre. He's playing around Earthquake with this, but it's not going to be protecting his base at all. As if we take a quick look at what Grass sees, he's got the center. He's just scouting around, trying to steal all the goats up because he hasn't managed to scout the whole map before sending his dudes in. And I think that Grass, as this goes on, he has not dropped a stable, so he's going for a fast second town center. But as I think this is probably like a decision based on the way that Kimo's playing here. But we see the centaur to come through, the fair is in position, and Grass, he says, I'm not even going to bother. He's retreating back. He expects a classical age to come through at 4:45 here, and he says no damage because he doesn't want to lose any HP here. Meanwhile, Kimo drops the vision onto this side. There is a Wolf of Set over here. There's no shifting sands. He could drop Plague of Serpents there, but it's not really going to do anything. And now Kimo knows exactly what's coming for him, and he's going to drop double barracks as the option here. He sees the town center, he sees the base, and he says, hey, I can play a completely different style. This is something that I'm sure everyone is going to be surprised at. Everyone and their mum looks at Kimo playing on the ladder and says, Kimo just goes for 5-second town centers. But rest assured, Kimo's got an entire bag of strategies, which I think a lot of players aren't going to be fully aware of. Now, we'll see how he's going to execute here because it's 2 town center versus 1 town center. It's a Nubite spammage with Spearman versus whatever Grass is going to be going for. Grass is going to try and sneak this hunt over here very much out in the open, and we'll see how things are going to go as Kimo moves out into the middle of the map to grab these boars here. And it looks like, Grass here, he might have noticed this, but he's looking everywhere else for the moment, for the time being, as the Spearman now moving out across the map. And we'll see what Kimo can come up with. As the Anubites to move to the right-hand corner. The Spearman going to be moving to the left-hand corner. A Pharaoh looking forward to try and grab himself a relic. I'm not sure if there is anything over there. There isn't. This has already been picked up, it looks like, by Grass, as he has that text of Imhotep in. As the army to come through. The Pharaoh in position here to get some damage done. Kimo not paying attention. His villager's going to be retreating away. That's going to be 1 villager kill. You really can't be losing villagers when you're playing 1 town center play here. As the Anubites to jump forward, going straight after the villagers in the main base here. As Grass now under a lot of pressure. The Spearman on this side as well can look to come over and hit those villagers, but he doesn't know they're there just yet. Kimo has got all of the pressure as the Atalanta has to pull back. The Centaur to turn around, getting the damage done. Going to get a little bit of kills in on this one as the Guardian of Nubites to come through. Villagers over onto this side, going to be going down. 1 villager down, 2 villagers down, but the Atalanta is now back, and that's going to be some difficulty here for Kimo, as I believe he just used his jump away maneuver there, as the Centaur also getting some damage. There he goes, jumping away onto that position. We see onto over here, Plague of Serpents to get dropped down. 1 villager going to be getting sniped down here as well, as those Anubites are out of here, but 1 going down. That's not what Kimo wanted here. It looks like Grass has managed to get the defense for the time being here. As the Spearman's going down, Kimo not really controlling this one all too well here at the moment. Losing both those Spearmen onto that town center is not ideal in the slightest. Grass has got himself a market. He knows what's coming for him. He wants to get a heroic age in. It's very, very simple here when playing against this sort of a Nubite strategy. We've got a second town center for Kimo. Now coming up, this is stock standard for Kimo when he's going for this. He wants to get pressure, and then he's going to drop 2 or 3 town centers really nicely placed and start moving into a different sort of position. But he is forcing Grass into this sort of an idea. He knows that Grass is just going to go for a heroic age at the moment. So if Grass goes heroic, he's going to want to go into maybe an extra hero, get some of those Haspist out. So Kimo, get himself 3 town centers now, or 2 town center heroic age, and get into those sort of chariot archers is a really, really nice way to move forward here as well. The problem to some degree here is that Kimo is very far behind on villages, which is not ideal when you're playing against Greek, as the Anubite getting sent packing here, going to be moving up to the top right-hand corner here, just jumping away as Theseus and the Centaur to come over here. And Kimo has to start considering where to go next. As he pulls back, he's got the granary up over here, finishing up the gold, making some priests. We see a 3rd monument coming down, another barracks as well. So potentially here, Kimo is just going to stay in the classical age. It's a little bit surprising to me to see that. But then again, Kimo, maybe he just wants to set up for the long haul here. Get himself the 3 town centers, like we already said, maybe even a forward town center. There's most likely going to be a bronze to come through here for Grass fairly shortly. He goes into 3 centaurs. Killing off centaurs is really, really challenging for Egyptians because you have these really slow priests to deal with these really, really fast centaurs. But if your opponent doesn't have any Hippias, then all of a sudden it becomes a little bit less tricky, because all of a sudden you just have to click onto them and the priests are going to do completely fine there. Meanwhile, the villagers coming in to grab this position. The priests are out. I guess the Anubites are here to try and deal with this, as Grass just wants to get a little bit of pressure on. The Anubites can jump in and try and take out those Centaur, but as is always the case, they can just run away. They have more speed, and then they can start doing some hit and run shenanigans here. There's Kimo to pull back. Grass to retreat back into his main base here. The walls completely up on this side for Kimo. And Aphrodite on the way. So we're not going to see the bronze. So this is kind of what Kimo wants, because this means there's not going to be any significant all-ins available for grass. No significant all-ins for grass here. As the army comes forward here, the Anubite mass is starting to look pretty scary for Kimo in this game. As he does dive in, gets a little bit of damage there. He will be able to turn and just kill off that Atalanta, as that doesn't get microed back, as a couple of Anubites, more than enough, going to be picking off one center. And then he pulls back. Nice control there from Kimo. Grass, a little bit of miss micro there, I'd have to say, but we'll see if he's going to be able to fix this up moving forward. Now he's in the next age. He can start making himself some Hypaspist. Kimo's got to be careful here. He's just queued up a whole bunch of Spearmen and he cancels them, and now he goes into Axemen. He sees the military academies. Axemen don't necessarily beat Hypaspist, though. It's kind of close, but it's better than building Spearmen at this point. As some villagers to come up to the top side of the map. Definitely want to be preventing that as long as he possibly can, as Kimo dropping himself a third town center behind this. Now, Grass might just say, hey, if you're going to go for a third town center, maybe I'm just going to drop a fortress down on this gold mine over here, and then we can just go Mythic Age as an idea. As Kimo's going to be pulling back for the time being, up onto the top side, we see the obelisk getting dropped down. Grass now slowly starting to push in here. As the Pharaoh is through, there's that curse, and it's looking like Kimo's just kind of throwing everything away here. I'm not sure this is exactly what he wanted to have happen. He kind of loses the whole kit and caboodle in that fight, as Grass manages to just absolutely dominate all those units. And now Kimo has to pull all the way back. All the map control goes over to Grass, and Grass can now start thinking about getting his own third town center, fortress, whatever he wants here. But there's no curse now remaining, which is a little bit of a win. Kimo's plan, to some degree here, I'm not exactly sure what it is, but he's going to have to play for the late game. Citadel and just sit back and try and hold on here. So the question is, what's Grass going to do to capitalize on this gigantic advantage he has now managed to find? We've got the farms coming up over here. Kimo's putting everything down. He's got villagers onto these back gold mines here. This town center is now going to be the next target. It's not really going to be enough here to just hold this one. We can see some more units to come through, but I'm not sure if Kimo can even. I don't think he can even hold here. That town center is just gone. All the gold mines over here are going to be going down next, as the Anubite's going to be charging over here. Kimo pops out, going to try and repair these guys up. Sniping down some units. A nice little catch onto this one as one center goes down. A second center also going to be going down here. Now, losing the town center isn't the end of the world here for Kimo, but he needs to make sure he's running those villagers behind here over to another place. But the problem is that there's just no gold mines for him. So he needs to hold these positions. These are 3 gold mines on this one location. On the top side of the map, there's nothing here. So he's going to get gold starved as he's trying to just pump out Axemen for the moment here to try and deal with these heavy hoplites which Grass has got. As the big stun to come through here, the priest to come through, and Kimo doesn't want to play it out any longer. A few too many mistakes from Kimo in this game. He goes for this 3 town center play. I didn't mind it, but I think he needed to be much more decisive about it. He kind of went double barracks. He threw away some units. He didn't quite get the pressure with his army as best as he possibly could. Part of me feels like he might have been better off just going through Tar here and going for the far second town center approach, but nonetheless, he tried it out, tried to throw Grass off his game, but Grass, very, very solid defense against all of this. I think if Kimo didn't really try and force any fights here and maybe just held back a little bit, making Grass kind of question what's going on, he didn't need to force anything. Maybe it would have been in a better spot. Maybe not wasting the Plague of Serpents, keeping that for any sort of an attack over onto this position could have been another idea. But nonetheless, a well-played first game from Grass. 1 point for him. I'll move into game number 2. Hope you guys having fun hanging out with me, and we'll get the next game started as soon as the players are ready. Alrighty, moving into game number 2 here, as we've got Grass in the right-hand corner of the map, spawning in as the Odin. On the left-hand corner of the map, as the Noir, we've got Kimo. So, game number 2. Some shaky nerves, it seems, from game number 1 from Kimo. Definitely not playing like his normal self in that first one. Throwing away units where he probably otherwise wouldn't. He's throwing up a house onto this side. Oop, he must have misclicked that one a little bit here. But a little bit... He also didn't share the wood line. A little bit unfortunate there for Kimo to start this game off. But we'll see what his plans are going to be here. Meanwhile, grass on this side opening up. He's got actually 2 villages already on gold, which is a little bit off meta, so to speak. A little bit off meta. Generally, you want to start with a dwarf on the gold mine, but this here is going to allow him to 100% get himself the dwarfs, get himself the town, the temple in time. I don't think it's actually necessary, but it's a tiny bit of lost resources, so it's not the biggest of deals. It's Kimo moving forward here, just trying to get all the scouting information out. Let's take a little look at the map. So, town center over here for Kimo, absolutely beautiful. He's got a back gold mine. He's got the hunt over here, which you can protect with a earth wall and all the good stuff there. For grass on the other side here, his town center doesn't have any. He does have the hunt, but his gold mine isn't nearly as nice. He's got a big fat forest here blocking this in. He doesn't have anything to really hold this spot. Sure, he can wall this off and it can be kind of decent, but he's not going to be too happy with that town center. Let's see what else there's got. In the center of the map here, this doesn't really get him anything. Sure, or behind the gold, behind this town center, he gets the gold mine. It's going to be hard to sneak around here. You have to kind of circle up the top, move through here, dodge that line of sight, come through here, then sneak in onto this spot if you want to go for any raids. But nonetheless, this town center here is okay. I don't think I'd expect it to go up. This town center on the top, very, very nice. You can see the cliff here, town center here, a wall here, and all of a sudden 2 gold mines, hunt, berry. That is chef's kiss. I would actually almost expect Kimo to want to go for that one as well, as he does grab himself the early Kualfu chieftain. No surprises there, as he's going to be wanting that to get this big bad boy out, and he is a big bad boy indeed, grabbing himself a ton of economy very, very quickly. As we see the temple coming up for grass. Now, we did see a couple of little murmurs in the chat about some strategies here. How to going to be coming through for Kimo. Oops, did I flip this? I didn't flip it. How to going to be coming through for Kimo here. There are no surprises there. Gen Nuke is definitely a possibility in this matchup. I don't think it's bad. It's just a different style completely. But against Norse, the idea of going for the Cheongchi is the flying myth unit that can land is almost too much to pass up. So you want to grab that and put the pressure on. As grass here is going to be going for Freya. I'm a little bit surprised. Not surprised. A little bit surprised to see Freya, but also not surprised. Heimdall is definitely an option here. You get Safeguard for a whole bunch of cheaper things, and you get yourself access to Rigsdaler as well, so you can start competing with economy very, very nicely. A super late advance time from grass as well, which is kind of a surprise for me. Like, whenever you're playing against China, I'm a little bit scared of the early pressure as a Townsend to come up, and wow. I'm actually, maybe this is just the better way to do this. I was just being like, I'll just send my Kualfu over. They're going to get my town center up as fast as possible. But Kimo says, I'm going to put my peasants onto this position and grab this town center. That way he's going to keep on getting wood and gold. He might go for a fast 3 town center here. As we see a Great Hall and a Longhouse to come down. Grass looks like he is going pedal to the metal in this game. Full send in terms of attacks. As the Cheongchi going to be flying through. As the Valkyrie here, it has to basically stay at home and prevent this from getting any value. But grass is already going to move over onto this side. And then all of a sudden, there's going to be 2 Cheongchi to start coming through, I'm sure. How much does they cost? I can never remember. Cheongchi, where is it? There. 200 gold. So maybe that's what he's going for with the extra guy over here. So town center does complete. Villagers over onto this position here. And Kimo flapping around. Just trying to find something out here. And the question is, how all in is grass going to go? Because Kimo Kimo's game plan, most likely here, is going to be, let's just try and get to the heroic age. Get Fey Beast. Let's get a good Fey Beast. Never mind. Kimo scouts. He sees what's happening, and he says it's time to build some dudes. Wow, a fast second great... No, that's not the second great hunt. Okay, never mind. I thought maybe Grass was going for a fast second great hunt. I don't actually think it's a bad idea to use the second great hunt, but at this stage of the game, it's probably better to get yourself out the second Valkyrie. As in the main base, wow, we've got the Earth Wall to get clicked down here as a second town center now coming through for Grass. And he does grab the forward one, but like I said, this one doesn't really... This is not the one that I actually really like. While grabbing this one up the top is maybe a little bit scary because, you know, it's close to the Chinese base. I think it's the better call. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But nonetheless, Kimo spots this and he has to go, all right, where to next? He's still building units. He might even cancel these units, to be honest, and just go heroic age because he knows what's coming. He knows there's a second town, so he knows there's no real threat here. But we'll see. Oh, a little bit of a... It's a disco right now. We're just having a bit of a dance. Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh, oh. Dude, it's going to keep... Wow, that's... It's upsetting. You like, look, this stuff is... It's nice. It's fine. It's good. A couple of military camps to come down over here as well for Kimo, as he is looking to just play for what looks to be... My guess is going to be Halberdier, Dow Swordsman, and Javelineers. I think he's going to go for all 3 units here. Where's the Chongqi gone? Did it get picked off? No, he's still flying around, still getting scouting here. Walls just coming up all over the map for Grass to just take control of the full position here. There's the Pioneer searching up to the top position, but there's no relic there anymore. And now an armor to get thrown down as well, as Kimo is thinking, all right, we've got the food. Let's just get that gold income. He could pull this Quaofu off of wood and put it over onto gold if he really wants to speed up that process there. But Grass is literally just saying, hey, if you're not gonna play with me, I'm just gonna take the entirety of the map and we'll just figure out what happens next. And this can be such a good way to play. So absolutely standard for playing Norse against like Egyptian, right? So when you're doing against China, especially Noir, sometimes it does feel a little bit like that's the case. It feels like you are playing a little bit against an Egyptian player. So getting these walls up, getting this position all sorted does make sense. Because the Chongqi does land over here. Kimo going to be retreating back. He's still making Dow Swordsman as Grass is now going up through Skadi. Getting pushed back into the main base for the time being here. So building these Dow Swordsmen is very, very gold heavy. As we do see a couple of machine workshops to come up. And Grass just going to be retreating back for the time being. Another great haul to come through. The villagers coming down to the bottom side. Now going to grab these caribou as well. Grass is really taking all the resources he possibly can in this game. Just trying to give himself the best chance to win this game possible. Picking off these walls is nice, as Kimo might be thinking about pushing out to secure this town center. But with Grass going to the next stage, building Berserk, raiding cavalry, I don't mind the composition, but it is gonna beat itself into Dow Swordsman, Fire Archers, which, while they don't have much mobility, can be very, very difficult to get anything done in an actual fight here. As we do see Rush Shaw to come through here for Kimo. And Kimo is going to be looking far and wide for a Fey Beast's attack with this Chongqi. Any sort of damage here from Kimo and he's happy. He just wants to kill villagers. The way that Grass is playing, sitting back, kind of just waiting, all you got to do is just throw those god powers and then you just say, all right, what's next? Now Grass has got Frost. Maybe Frost is an answer for Fey Beasts? Maybe? I don't think so. I feel like you can get more value out of it than that. But nonetheless, More Dow Swordsmen are coming through. He is going for the Dow Swordman tech path with Divine Judgment, Gilded Shields. Though I'm not sure Gilded Shields is of that much importance. I think that gives just pierce armor from memory. That's the population differential. I don't know what's going on with this. This is a pretty rare bug. It only normally happens with Thoth and Valley of the Kings. But just look at the top here for the army military value. And you'll sort of figure out exactly where we're going for the moment here. There's some more houses to get dropped up on the front. Kimo still waiting, watching, getting himself heavy infantry, heavy range soldiers over onto this side. The Chongqi sitting here. The villagers look like they're going to be making a move elsewhere. There's Kimo looking to start pushing forward here. He's got to be so careful. Those thrown axemen are brutal here. He does have the Baihu, so with good control on that Baihu, he can dive in and send the thrown axemen packing. As he's getting all of his upgrades, Divine Judgment to come through as well. Same too for Grass. Both players playing so carefully in this game here. And he's going to break through this house. See another armory, or an armory. Is that just the first armory here for Grass? It is the first armory, so he's going to start getting those upgrades. Kim, on the other hand, does he have any himself? Yes, he does have a half-decent amount of upgrades here. There's the Chongqi just searching for something to go for here. There's the Baihu sort of leaving. He needs to hit this Baihu onto those thrown axemen to take a good fight. But it looks like for the moment here, the way that Kimo's playing, is going to be getting into a position which he's comfortable with. That's the Bai, who unfortunately misses that special attack here, as Grass has to retreat back. Whole bunch more units to come in as he's slowly starting to push forward. The Baihu getting frozen up. Losing that one is really brutal there. Another Baihu to come through. Those myth units are so important for the Chinese success as the forest fire to come through. Just going to be... Actually, this is kind of good for Kimo, opening this position up a little bit here as the army charges through. The Baihu misses that special attack as well. Those fire archers trying to take out Huskal on the back here as the Fey Beast comes down. And there is the Frost, as a huge amount of damage still going to be leaking out from those Fey Beasts while this is all going on. Still hitting the Thrown Axemen as they do pull away from that at the moment here. As the units pulling back, and Kimo here, he gets the Frost out. He uses the creation as well. We see a hill fort to come up. There's 23 seconds left of this shenanigans here. 160 population apiece for the time being. Not how many heroes are in for Kimo. He's got a decent amount of heroes to take out that Frost Giant as he is sniping down some units as the hill fort is coming through. The Baihu will be ready to dive in if Kimo is quickly microing that one. As that hill fort finishes up, and the units here might just look to retreat away, but I think Kimo's got the army to keep pushing forward. Grass's macro is absolutely in an awful position. For the 43 villagers on wood right now, it looks like he's just going for Huskal Thrown Axeman, though, which is why he's going for this. But nonetheless, the Baihu charges forward, still not utilizing that jump to get in onto that Thrown Axeman army. As the army to retreat back, the Huskal charging forward here. Kimo getting that micro in, pulling back here. He is fighting underneath the hill fort as he's got the army advantage in a really big wave for the time being here. That hill fort is going to be the next port of call, it looks like. As Kimo more than happy to shoot down those Thrown Axemen over here. He needs to continue getting himself that front line. He's queued up so many units. He can just turn and take down the hill fort. The fire archers are plenty good. He's got a whole bunch of Dow swordsmen as well, as Grass is now very much on the back foot. And Kimo, he's got to be thinking, all right, how do we consolidate this position now? He needs to make sure he doesn't get gold staff, so he's got to come over here and grab this gold mine. He's got villagers snuck up at the top of the map with that clay peasants. That's almost done for the moment, as now Kimo moves forward, grabbing the town center, pushing in to kill off these houses and everything else over here. There's a whole bunch of Frost Giants. He does dive in, hits the Frost Giant, and he does get a little bit of damage done before he gets frozen in place. Sniping a couple more units here as Kimo slowly pushing forward. But getting up that third town center here on the front is absolutely gigantic. We see a cheeky wall over here as well, as Kimo does notice that those gold mines are going to be very, very important here. The army for Grass now charging forward, as there's a great choke point, however, for Kimo on this position. He does grab the Sage there as well, stealing one of those Frost Giants, and another Frost Giant steal as well. Going to be freezing those up, as Kimo now pushing up to the top side of the map with those villages. He's going to be able to grab all those gold mines. He's got the walls in. Grass sending it full in onto this position. It looks like his army is still doing very, very nicely here, but Kimo has still got a full population army himself as he's slowly pulling back from this one, needing more of those Dao Swordsmen. He's got all the units in the wall in that queue here, as another Baihu to dive in, diving onto that Frost Giant, eating a ton of that HP away. But those, what do they call it? Goaties there, really dealing with that incredibly quickly. As the spammage here, I mean, the question is, this is just a war of attrition to some degree, as it looks like Kimo has managed to hold. And now Grass has to just pull back here. He can't get anything else done. He needs something else to break through this army. And as he charges forward with those Huskal, Kimo, he's got to be careful with that micro. You need to shoot the entirety of those arrows out and then pull. And now he's doing it correctly. There he goes. And you see him doing that so nice. And now Grass has to pull back. The thing is right now, Grass, I mean, actually, if you take a look at the map is actually cut in half right now. Even after all of that effort the Grass went to in the early stages of this game to secure the map is equal. Absolutely equal here. The houses to get broken down, more walls up. We've got those stock standard Kimo walls. He's got a ballet to come through as well. Now, I think the one thing that Grass is thinking here is, well, it doesn't really matter, right? If I'm a little bit behind here, it doesn't really matter because the Huskal, the Throw and Axeman, he doesn't really have a great, like China doesn't have a really great counter to that. But where I think he's missing, what he's missing is when Kimo gets, does he have the upgrade? He does. Does he? Let me have a quick look. He doesn't have the upgrade. Wait. Oh, he's gone through the wrong god. Never mind. There is an option here for China to get a huge amount going, as we see Gong Gong to come through, and we also have Tia to come through. Both players going to be heading to that Mythic Age. And that option is, if you go not through Rochelle, as we saw here for Kimo, but you go through the other angle of going for... I am gapping on the name, but it's the one with forest protection. You get this technology which gives you access to a crazy amount of wood income, which then means a crazy amount of towers. So you can go for, it doesn't matter, the Huskal don't really matter at all, as a nice little defense here, as all of those Huskal are going to meet their demise as a nice little snipe comes through. Walls, or stone walls coming up. Wouldn't mind seeing Kimo getting some more walls down the bottom as well. He's going to be able to start a market up the top here. At the moment, gold mine situation is 4 apiece sort of remaining in this game. So Kimo needs to ensure that he controls this gold mine as well, as he's slowly going to be breaking through armories. But the thing is, what Grass can do and what Kimo can do is kind of similar. Both players just need to get their towers up to some degree, I think. This game is going that in that fashion here. There's a ballet to come through here to secure this position. One thing, I'm not sure about this because I haven't really done the math on it at all, but if you go into Tiger Cav as an option in the late game against this sort of a composition, it might be pretty strong. As now Grass charging in here with his army of Huskal, and this is not ideal. If you let the Huskal get onto you before you start firing, then that's where you lose the fight really, really hard. But if you start firing as they're running in, then you're kind of all good. As now we see the fortified town centers is in, the army to charge through here. Great Flood can come in as well, as I'm sure Kimo is going to be dropping that down immediately as Fimple Winter comes through. The army getting swept away, though half of the units actually getting blocked up by a berry bush, as now we've got the Qinglong to come through as well, as Kimo looks like he's going to be holding here, and Grass's army just melts. But the economic damage coming in onto Kimo will allow Grass to repopulate his army very, very quickly, and there's no siege here. But the Qinglong upgrade is coming through immediately. Rising Tides. I haven't seen that technology. I don't actually know if it's any good or not. But what he can do is he can just dumpster fire this damage onto units non-stop. Onto villages, he can sneak over here, hit this. He can sneak over here, hit this. The Qinglong's got 5.3 speed, so it outpaces those Goaty pretty well. As the Dao Swordsman going to come through and break down the Great Hall over here, go after the Hill Fort next. And now the army to come through. I've got champion upgrades here. Kimo not paying attention as those Chukonu are getting broken through, and the Qinglongs don't have that special ability just yet to help defend, as he does drop that down, getting a big amount of damage now through. But the Goaty on the case, sniping one there as the army of Kimo getting demolished. One wrong step there, it looks like, for Kimo, as now Grass is going to have, he's going to somewhat be in the driver's seat as the army dives in to the town center for the time being here. Drops down another one of those big amounts of damage. But can Kimo hold here? The army is so big for Grass. As Kimo dives into the town center, still just trying his best to hold on. More units. The economy is gigantic. It looks like lots and lots of units queued up here for Grass and Grim. Sorry, for Kimo, excuse me. Grass has actually got nothing queued up as he's now going to get some more stuff. And now we see the big bad boy coming in. Where is that man? What is he doing? Actually, don't know. There's more Dao Swordsmen to come through. We do have the mechanical ox carts. He's over on this side. Li Jing is in, and that is a big help to the Mythic Age army for Kimo. Sometimes when you're playing against China, you have to ignore the score. But in this moment, I think we have to take full account of exactly what's going on in this game. Grass has now lost his entire army again. Kimo is fully upgraded. He's got all of the trade routes started. He's got a whole bunch of units here. And this Li Jing hero is going to be a big problem for Grass to deal with moving forward. He's got to snipe it down somehow. Villagers moving over onto this side as the portable ram trying to get some more damage in. As we see another frost to come through here for Grass. He's been holding on to that one. I'm sure he was wanting to possibly go for something a little bit different, maybe like a Fimble Winter or something, but he's going after the town center. Those Huskal do not have themselves bravery just yet. There is a portable ram as the Qinglong goes down. One option here for Kimo is to actually delete some units here to rebuild them up. But we'll see if Kimo can survive here. He's going to bring some villagers over here. He's got the fully upgraded buildings with architects. Now the Dao Swordsman won't be able to stay alive for very long here. 10 seconds remaining on this frost. There's another hill fort to come in onto this position. One big weakness in Kimo's position is the very south of the map. If Grass ever wants to move in there and get some buildings up, that would be very nice, as we do see the Li Jing dropping that stun down. Another Qinglong to come through to drop the big area of effect damage down onto these units here. As those Dao Swordsmen go into town for the time being. There's not a whole lot of throw and action remaining, so those Dao Swordsmen are going to be very brutal. And now we see the towers to come through for Kimo. He's at full pop. His Qs are maxed, and now he's going to be able to start these towers up in a big way. One option here, which I'm not sure Kimo is aware of. This technology did get... No, he's got the upgrade for it. Wait, does he? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Wait. Yes, he does. He's got the upgrade. He's got the upgrade to build these towers. And the way to do it is you just spam down those wall segments. And instead of it taking you 10 seconds to get them up, it's going to take you 20 seconds and you can build, or 25 seconds, and you can build yourself 25 towers out near instantly. Not instantly, but like you know, much quicker. But nonetheless, Kimo is now going to be slow pushing through Grass in this one. And you can also, well, anyways, it's just really good because you can sort of set them up all over the place and be ready to transform them at any point you want. And it doesn't cost you anything to set them up. It's the big thing, right? As the Chukonu going to break through, and I'm not sure what else Grass can do. His economy isn't there. His trade route's not there. His ability to deal with this Chinese army at this point seems to be lacking. He continues to throw army after army into the meat grinder, and Kimo is just got so many units queued up. So does Grass, to be honest. The game is still not lost for Grass, but he's got to figure out some way to pull himself back into this game. And which way is it going to be? Because one, the gold mine's expiring. That's going to hurt, but Kimo's already got gold. Already got trade. Over on this side, we've got now the Qinglongs going for raids. Nice little reaction there from Grass as Kimo not paying attention. But Grass has got himself 2,000 gold over here. He's got himself 800 gold over there. But I guess the problem here for Kimo is he's not building siege. And he needs to get some siege in to actually break through these buildings. Now, one other move here is to push in this way through this hill fort and onto this town center. He doesn't have to go through this way, as he does notice that now, coming over to break down this wall and everything else. Grass is going to try and get back to full population. Let's have a quick little look at the upgrades. Missing iron weapons, iron mail over here. Kimo is missing iron mail and iron shields. The shields doesn't matter. So really one upgrade differential at the moment, as now Kimo says, you know what, instead of going for siege, I'm just going to get the ultimate siege weapon. He's grabbing Secret of the Titans. As the hill fort does end up falling down, all those Dao swordsmen do end up falling, as Grass is going to be attempting to take a fight yet again. He's so far behind on population, though. Realistically, can he actually take this fight underneath the ballet to boot here? It's going to be very, very tricky. As the building's falling, the Qinglong going to be coming through as well. As the watchtowers coming up now on the front. Now the Kuaofu, this bad boy builds towers incredibly fast. Incredibly fast. Ridiculously fast. So these are going to be absolutely brutal to deal with. The Titan Gate is in, but Kimo, I'm not sure, he needs to place it down somewhere and start building it, but it looks like he doesn't really want to here. He's now starting to get himself those siege crossbows to break through here. Grass trying to get himself back up to full population. There's Kimo slow pushing here with those towers and everything else. It's the iron armor to come through. We've got the Qinglongs coming in as well. As this is just going to... It's just so difficult to fight Nuwa at this point in the game. As we see the big stun to come in. A little bit of a misclick there from Kimo. I do think it's the best idea to use this unit is to turn it onto... turn it off autocast and actually just cast it normally. But nonetheless, going to be charging forward here as the Titan Gate. Where is he dropping it? Right at the back, right out of sight, right out of mind. A couple of ballasts that have come through here as well. As Kimo's army still sitting at full population. I don't know if it's just because Kimo's trading better here, or if it's because Grass doesn't have enough buildings. Like, what has he got? He's got 8 longhouses, 8 or 6 great halls, 3, now 2 hill forts. And Grass in that moment says, I just can't beat this army. It's just too powerful. Kimo too far in front. And he finds the dub in game number 2, leveling this series. Kimo's never going to go away. The last game was nothing to him. He's focusing on this one. He plays this one incredibly well. Really, really nice control of the army. Grass, unfortunately, not really able to make anything happen with that kind of map control centric way of playing, going for the early heroic age instead of maybe staying it out in the classical age a little longer to grab some more economy, grab some more of the map. Grabbing this town center was, in my opinion, or not grabbing this town center, in my opinion, was Grass's biggest mistake in this game. This was the position that needed to be secured for him. This position down the bottom, he can secure with the walls that he already had up, and this wall over here, and all of a sudden, Kimo can't just get in and grab the town center, secure the gold. And then he can just sit here and just lay claim to all the gold mines, and Kimo will get gold starved. But Grass didn't read that situation with his scouting or whatever went wrong there, and I feel like he grabbed the wrong town center. Tactically speaking, you can talk whatever you want about strategy or tactics or anything, but or micro or macro, but strategically speaking, tactically speaking, that was the big one here, and Kimo gets the dub. If you guys enjoyed this one, make sure you hit the follow, hit the subscribe button, and all that other good stuff, and we'll see you in the next game. Alrighty, we're back with game number 3. Kimo levels the series with his China, and this time we're going to be seeing Grass playing as Uranus, and Kimo sticking with the Chinese here, going in with Hushi. Now we are on the map Arena, and it is time for the shenanigans here. We've already got a gate. Let's talk about Arena. Let's talk about it. This map is in the pool, and I love it. I think this map should be a ranked map. I think this map is absolutely amazing. Why is it absolutely amazing? Because it plays so differently to everything else. You start with all these walls around your base. The strategies are completely different. And all of a sudden, you see Arena, and you go, yes, a different type of game. That's as simple as that. And not only that, I know that as we see the Peach Blossom screen to come down, not only that, we know that at the lower levels, the aggression is really, really difficult to deal with, right? And maybe you guys can correct me if you find yourself playing much more macro games at lower levels, but I've heard that it's much more aggressive type games at the lower levels. So Arena, for the lower levels, oof, that changes things quite a bit for your types of games, and you can have a lot of fun with it. So I want to start a position to say, next patch, let's get Arena in the map pool. Let's get everyone to enjoy this, because it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, before that comes in, we get to see how the pros want to approach this. I want to put a little preface here. I wouldn't be surprised if this man right here, Mr. Kimo, the king of the ladder, Jones, not Jones, that's Keto. Let's go Keto. Kimo, the king of the ladder, Smith. This guy, I doubt he's even touched this map. The reason is as simple as he just can't be bothered. He literally just can't be bothered. And you want to know why I know this? It's because we've done this dance for so many tournaments, and every single tournament is the same. I love Kimo. He's a character. All right, let's check out the relics in the middle of the map. There's Demeter's Throne here. Always nice to pick that one up. Maybe not so good for the Uranus player, but definitely for the Chinese player. Feather of Jingwei here, going to be getting a little bit of a wood trickle. Up to the top side of the map, we've got Text of Imhotep, giving that building time, training speed there as well. Over onto this side, we've got System of Bast. All right. So the question here is, do you go for a village center? You don't have to leave your base to build a town center. You can go for a double village center here if you want. We're seeing both players advance to the next stage. We don't have any oracles out. Mana to come through for grass. And we don't see... Wow. I am actually shook. We are seeing Zhennu. All right. Let me unpack why maybe this makes sense and why normally it wouldn't, but on this map, maybe it does. I'm not actually sure, but this is my thought process, and maybe Kimo's thinking the same way. There is a technology here that comes through called reincarnation. Zhennu over Chiyo is the late game king. Or queen, I should say, because, you know, goddess and all. But getting that technology, getting your base all set up and getting that late game going makes some sense. The problem is I don't actually think that this is a late game map. As much as it looks like it is. I don't think this is a late game map. I think this is a mid game map. So you want to be playing for that mid game to control the middle of the map. The map is very, very small. The outsides of the map with tons of wood. You're never going to get wood starved. But yeah, I think this is a mid game map. Anyways, we'll see how it's going to go. Grass on the other side. One village center to come through. I'm not surprised to see this, but I don't think this is a great idea. Because Kimo is just going to walk out of his base, drop this town center down, and there's going to be nothing that Grass can do about it. And we see a counter barracks as well. So it's a village center counter barracks. Kimo's going to have him second town center. He's going to be completely fine here. He can even eat these Aurochs out. And we also see a little bit of pressure from the Chillin over here. He's not going to be able to enter the base. He can take some, start hitting the wall or something and start doing some damage. Only 1,200, only 1,200 HP for those walls, but still. I guess we'll wait and see. Pretty wild. Village center up for grass. All right, hang on. I gotta fix a little something. I'm just realized I put up a dodgy video again. All right. We are watching this game right now. I promise. All right, fixed. Okay, back to the game. So at this point, my guess is we actually see some military camps coming through here from Kimo. As the Terma coming in, and we see another town center, the Chillin for Kimo. Oh, he doesn't spot it. What are you doing? It's inches away. And now he gets pushed back. He misses it. He doesn't see it. Are you kidding me? All right. Now grass is all of a sudden going to be on 2.75 town centers. So it's a big, big fat boom going to be happening here. We do see the Sky Lantern to come through. What does Kimo see? He sees the Sky Lantern die. Okay, what? Who does this favor? At this point, if Kimo knew the town center was there, I would say it's 100% Kimo's option. He gets to react to whatever grass is doing, and it's fine. But not seeing that settlement kind of changes everything. And Kimo is still just sending Sky Lanterns in. The thing is, seeing a village center here... Wait. Am I blind? No, there is only 2 town centers. Seeing a village center here might even be worse for Kimo. Because now he's going to think, oh, it's a village center. Oh. I'm fine just on 2 town centers. There's all the military camps in the world getting placed up for Kimo. I mean, Kimo might just say, all right, you're not going to attack me. I'll just throw up a 3rd town center anyways. But nonetheless. Another house to come through for Kimo over here. I mean, the idea of just going to the heroic age makes some sense because then you just get the big push, right? Or just going for... He's got so many military camps already up. See an armory to come down, and Kimo's definitely just going to go to the heroic age, but so too is Grass. Grass getting his market down. And I imagine... Oh, we see Thea. For those of you playing at home, if you go for a village center, it's better to research the heroic age through the village center because that's going to get you more dudes out of your main town center. Like, there's no reduction in train time when you go through a village center versus a town center. So there's no reason to research your age up through the main town center there. That might be a little bit weird, but that's how it works. Nonetheless, Golmang to come through here for Kimo. And it's going to be Thea. As now all the barracks in the world coming through for Grass. And I guess the question is, what unit comp is he going to be going for? Because realistically, what do you build against China? If you're Oranos here, do you go for Contarius? Well, you just lose to Halberdiers. Do you go for Murmillos? Well, then the Chuko Nu start coming through. Do you go for Arcus? well, they're pretty good. The Wuzu Javelin are a little bit, I would say, mid, so maybe the Arcus are a decent idea. So maybe the idea here for Grass and for Aranos should actually be destroy our Arcus. But anyways, the military camps are coming up, and Kimo, he can just make a whole bunch of... He can literally just react. He's putting all the machine workshops up in his main base, setting his base up nicely. The problem is that he's going to be very behind on everything here. And this is literally because of 2 pixels. Literally because of 2 pixels. As the Arcus are coming in. Meanwhile, the Terma circling around onto this side. We do have that Neja to come in. And here's the thing for Kimo. Does it matter if he falls behind if he can get to the Mythic Age? Right now, on this patch, there is a unit. I affectionately call it John Wick. Other people call him Yang Wick. Why do I call him John Wick? Because he can take on an army by himself. That's why. He is so strong. As the ballet coming through for Kimo. And we will be seeing those Terma not going to be lasting here. As Grass, I mean, he's definitely thinking, I got to get going here. I got to get the pressure on. I got to get some damage done. Otherwise, Mythic Age is going to come through and life is going to be very, very challenging. As Kimo pulls back underneath his forest protection here. Grass has got to be very careful with this. I don't particularly like... Oh, he runs in with a guy. Looks like he's okay for the time being. He's now spamming out Wuzu Javelin here. And he's going to be going for, literally, the units to counter his opponent. Here he goes. All right. Javelin here. And he also makes him Dow Swordsman. But Javelin here, Halberdier. As Grass getting himself up a Sky Passage over here. Still staying on 2 town centers. We see a Palace to come through as well. Sky Passage on this side. Kimo's got to still be feeling like he's playing against a one town center or a village center shenanigan. No, he saw it. He saw it. Okay, I don't know when he saw it, but he saw it. He's seen both the shenanigans there. But I don't know. Maybe he just saw it too late as the village is pulling into the ballet for the time being. Whoop. Vanish? I guess that's scary. That's scary for Grass. But half the units, some of the units are just sitting here. He's got to know the army is here, right? And now Kimo pushes out the shockwave to come through. The melee units on the front absolutely dominating these Contarius here. And Grass is just getting absolutely bodied at this point. The Wuzu Javelineer completely, well, not even the Wuzu Javelineer, the Halberdier is completely erasing those Contarius as now Grass clicks Hecate. Now, behind this though, what is Kimo going to go for? He gets his town center. He's in no rush to get to the Mythic Age. Grass here will hit the Mythic Age first. He will have that advantage. But does it matter? Maybe. Tartarian Gate is pretty difficult to deal with. The thing that Kimo can do here as well is he can start getting himself out, if he gets this tech, can start getting himself out Super Pioneer. Pioneer do lose... Actually, I don't even know if they lose the Terma. I don't even know. The Pioneer are really powerful with Fushi as well. Pioneer plus Fire Lantern in the Mythic Age. Oof. Absolutely oof. Now it's 3 town centers apiece. Kimo's nearly at full villages. Grass also at full villages. Mythic Age not coming through just yet. Fortified town centers to come in. Kimo is playing I'm going to play as defensive as I possibly can. Does he have the upgrade? He doesn't have this upgrade just yet. Reincarnation would be really nice here because it means that he's going to get himself an extra X resources from this army, right? How many units are here? Well, let's just call, let's just call it 40 units. Every 5 dies, he gets an extra unit. So you're looking at an extra 8 units, which is not nothing. Not nothing at all. Nonetheless, Grass is now at full population. He hasn't got himself that 3rd town center. I think he should just be thinking about getting that position, but he's going to be looking for a really big attack here. Does he have any dudes to go in here? It looks like he doesn't just yet. As now the army charging forward. Tartarian Gate getting dropped down. Where? Oh, over here. Tartarian Gate gets dropped down as the army charges through here. The village is just simply going to be retreating away from this position for the time being here. Good control from Grass to pull back those Contarius here as the Wuzu Javelineer going to be charging in to take down the Arcus. As we now see Huang Di to start coming through here for Kimo. As it looks like the Dryads tanking up nicely, but those Dao Swordsmen are doing very, very nice for the time being here. As he has to pull back over onto this side, we do have the Najar, the lone beast here to try and take this position out. A couple of heroes with the Sages here as well going to be helping out on that position as Kimo dropping down in population. But with Huang Di comes access to the Ying Long, which is a epic dragon of destruction as the army going to be retreating back. I don't think Kimo needs to mind losing this position here. But if he can delay, all the better. As we see another forest protection to come through. The army on the back here, cleaning up the Tartarian Gate while this is all going on. Grass not managing to break through here in the slightest. It's the forest protection hitting that back army beautifully. The destroys, however, those are scary here. That town center is going to fall. The forest protection will get cleaned up. But does it matter? Doesn't matter when you have to deal with a Yinglong. Town center will go down though. Now, Grass gets his position. Kimo, I don't think he needs to mind. He's going to be able to push back here and claim this position. This gold mine is important though. He does have a gold mine over on this side as well. As now the Mythic Age to come through. The big Yinglong's Wrath to come swooping in as he's going to be, well, he kind of misclicks it. Probably should have clicked it on the retreat path there. But nonetheless, the army of Grass pulling out of here. We do see a palace coming through for Grass on this position as well. As that palace is now up, and we do have both Yang Jiang and Nejar queued up here. These are the two big boys. Plus also getting celestial weapons here as well. Trying to take out the palace for the time being here as the heavy Contarius going to be attempting to break through. We see the unit saying, all right, well, let's take a fight. The upgrades aren't in. I want to see Kimo waiting for his heroes here because they're going to be such a big help in this fight coming up. But the town center still attempting to come through. The units coming in as well. He does have that Hundun here as where's the dragon gone? Am I blind? Did he lose it? He lost it. He lost the Deuterino already, I think. I'm not sure what happened. He just lost it. I'm blind, obviously. Maybe I saw it die. But nonetheless, we've now got Nejar in. He's over here. Yang Jiang is over here. Kimo kind of just throwing units into the meat grinder for the time being. He's getting everyone out, but all of his guys now coming through. Grass has now got a good position secured, but like I said already, can Grass do anything here or not? As Kimo swoops in, going to drop down the slow onto this position here. As Yang Jian getting that damage. He does so much damage. You can send him onto that back line there and just absolutely wreak havoc. The Yinglong down to nearly 1,000 HP as the Arcus heroes over here. Great control from Grass for the time being, but the heroes onto the back line. As look at this damage here from Yang Jian here, and he's going to be getting himself that. Oh my god, they're all erased on that position. Oof! Grass's army is massacred after all of that goes through. John Wick is here, ladies and gentlemen, and he says, Not today. A man of determination, of sheer will. Of sheer will. As the palace of grass goes down. The town center for Kimo coming up here. As Kimo charging forward. His Yinglong almost down, however. And Kimo is just going to keep on forcing fights here. He doesn't care. His army is so powerful. He hasn't even got champion upgrades yet. He hasn't even got champion upgrades. Yang Jian is low HP though. Kimo needs to get a big fat heal off. The way that he works is if you send the... never mind, the wolf goes through. If you send the wolf into a massive units, he gets all his HP back. Does the palace to go down? Wait, does he have the silk tech as well? He does. Look at this. It's 30% or 20% extra HP and 10% hack armor. Oof. Biggest oof ever. That's Kimo now. Realizes he has done the dash. He's done the deed. He has got the position he needs. He's got his trade route sorted. He's grabbing this gold mine as well for himself. Doesn't need to keep pushing just yet. Get himself all his upgrades. Get himself sorted out in this game. Consolidate the position. His army is getting into sheer devastating proportions of power. Yinglong is down to 3 HP though. It's the army coming through. Kimo's got to be paying attention onto this one though. As you see the little animation of the wolf going through, back up to full HP. There he goes. So now the Yinglong does get sniped down there, falling to a tower it looks like. Oh, look at the damage! Oh my god! I can't look at it anymore. I can't. It's just too much. It's just too much. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why Asian mythology tournaments have got bands in them. Meanwhile, we've got Zhen Yuan's bloodline to come through, which is going to boost up those Dao swordsmen even more. Champion infantry is in. Heavy Chukonu as well. He's basically a walking fishing ship. True. All right. Now, the big question is right now, can Grass figure this one out? Now, the way to beat this unit, if there is a way to beat this unit, is to just kill him first. Get him out, focus fire him down, just take him, just remove him. Remove him from the army and call it a day. As Yang Jian comes through, he's going for it. He's going for the snipe. He doesn't have that. Look at the micro, look at the moves. Yang Jian, he's almost taken out. Retreat, run for it. Grass almost snipes him, but he loses everything else. And now Neja is back in as well. Wants that. Oops, focus. And he does. He focuses it, but the special attack comes in. Is it going to be enough? He stops. He's back up to full HP. No, he's half HP. Not full HP. Okay. I'm losing my mind on this one. The axe carts coming through. Kimo doing so much damage onto Grass's position here. With the siege, he's going to be able to start cleaning up buildings and everything else. There's so many buildings here to push through. Yang Jian's actually dead, but he only costs 500 resources. So he's going to come back pretty quickly here. As the axe carts to get taken down over here. Hundun getting some good value on this side. One hero Arcus to try and deal with that as well. The watchtower's going down. Kimo has to pull back ever so slightly. He has kind of overcooked it on economy for the moment, which may be a good thing because you're never going to really lose from this position onwards, but his pushing power might not be there. Meanwhile, Grass, how many gold mines does he have? Over here we see the Nezha going for some raids. This gold mine almost gone. He's got this gold mine, this one, a little bit on both of them. So in total, maybe about 7,000, 8,000 resources of gold left before he needs a trade route started. And the trade route is pretty weak on this map with only having 50 gold per trip. Now, one idea is to just chop all the way to the corner here and then put the market there for the max late game. But nonetheless, Yang Xian back in. He is getting sniped down. The control here from Kimo is not it. He's trying to get to that back line. Whoop, wait, where is he doing? He gets one smack. He's taken out. Bit of a misplay there from Kimo as Grass manages to take out the big threat, but he's still so far behind on population that I don't think it even matters. And now we see Siege of the Titans coming through for Kimo. His economy is so big at this point. He's just playing, with the exception of how broken this unit is, Yang Xian, Kimo is playing just fundamental, solid Age of Mythology in this game. He defends all his stuff, he gets his trade route set up, gets all his technologies in. Grass here is missing the trade route. He's missing that big economy, so he's not going to be able to chase this Titan Gate from Kimo. And Kimo looks like he's so ridiculously confident with his position right now. Look at where he puts the Titan Gate. Does Grass see this? He doesn't see it. He barely doesn't see it. But Kimo is so ridiculously confident with his position. He is going to shoot this one up. 100 seconds, and he's got a Titan now. It's those axe carts going to be able to take down these buildings really quickly. Axe carts are really, really powerful Mythic Age siege weapons in the fact that they tank up that damage beautifully. Oh, Yang, oh my god. It's just so much damage. Okay, all right. Like, one thing here that maybe Grass should be doing, if we're going to be completely honest, is maybe don't... Wait, is he box formation at least? No, he's not. Maybe spread formation on your archers as an idea. One idea? I'm giving ideas. I don't know. Spread formation on your archers. As Grass has got nothing really left in this game, I don't think he's going to be losing the palace. The Titan is almost in 35 seconds away from coming in. All the palaces have fallen. Grass trying his absolute hardest to hold on in this game. As he does move the Dryad. Watchtower's going down over here as well. Yang Xian to take out a couple more dudes in this position. Barracks to get taken out. And there's the Titan. And now the towers. And Kimo says, please, out of my game immediately. I've got all the resources in the world. I got a Titan. The trade route is up now for Grass as well. What is he getting? 42 gold. Not quite as much. And now into the main base with a ballet. And the Titan just rushing straight for that main town center, not giving any care to what's going on. He just says, all right, straight over there, let's go. And in the 28th minute of this game, Grass finally concedes. And Kimo takes the dub. Grass almost managed to get the gold stuff. He had the right idea. Killed this town center, secure this position. But I think he blew everything on this position to some degree a little bit too late. I feel like he had to be making the attacks in the heroic age. You know, if you played against Fushi at the moment, that this unit is really powerful. But before this unit comes out in the heroic age, you should be able to find some sort of an advantage. So, credit where credit's due here for Kimo, as one of the best defenders in Age Mythology. He actually manages to beat the Uranos, where I think most players would consider China the weakest. He wins that fight beautifully with this army composition. He reacts perfectly to what Grass is building. And in fact, he waits until Grass builds the units and then he built them out. It was really, really nice to see. And then once the big powerhouse unit comes through, there's nothing really there for Grass to do except for pray for misplays. Kimo did give him some misplays with the dude Reno, but nonetheless, well played by Kimo. Up 2-1. It's best of 5. So there's still a chance here for Grass to come back. No more Chinese in the draft for Kimo. So he's going to have to win the old-fashioned way. We'll see if he can do it. Getting into game number 4? Getting into game number 4 shortly. And here we go into game number 4. This is now currently match point for Kimo, as we're going to be seeing Thor for Grass against Kimo's Hades. And Kimo gets a little bit of the oof factor here. This is not what he wanted to see. He was picking Hades with the hope of a double gold mine Ghost Lake. He gets the 1 gold mine Ghost Lake, and now he has to play a style of Age of Mythology which I think he's very much capable of, but it's going to be challenging for him. Let's talk about it. If this is 2 gold mine Ghost Lake, all of a sudden you get the option, you got the access to a far second town center, and you get enough time inside of your main base with the gold mines to get yourself past any sort of all-ins. It's fine, especially with Hades and Sentinels. But with the 1 gold mine Ghost Lake going for a far second town center, all of a sudden life gets really, really tricky for you against the Thor player. However, a 1 gold mine Ghost Lake, all of a sudden, the Hades 1 town center plays start looking very, very appealing. Because look at the gold mines. Gold mine on the right-hand corner, very far away. Gold mine on the left-hand corner, very far away. Gold mine over here for Kimo, far away. Gold mine over here for Kimo, far away. With some nice goat claimages coming through for Grass. But yes, I wouldn't be surprised to see Kimo going for a fast second town center here, but I also wouldn't be surprised to see Kimo making the correct read on the situation and playing some 1 town center Hades. I know he's capable of it. I know he's good at it. But wow, look at this from Grass. He has found himself the goat heaven here. As over onto this side, Kimo is scouting out. He's got to send those goats back home. Focusing up on that build order here, as he will be going for a fast Vaults of Erebus build, which does mean he is not going for... I would assume he's not going for a fast second town center behind this, but he might. You can. It's not terrible. But nonetheless. So goats coming back in. There's none more on this left side. It looks like both players have just split the goats. Which... 9 goats to 11 goats. 14 goats. 14 versus 13. I think there might be 1 other goat somewhere on the map. Or I miscounted. Anyways. A stock standard opening here for Grass is just going for that fast Dwarven Armory approach. I do think that Thor players are really missing out on taking the game in their own hands. And what I mean by that, I mean Thor players are missing out on very fast advances, which only Thor really has access to for the Norse Pantheon. You can go for a 315 advance. You can get out a very fast second Valkyrie. You can put a forward temple so that your 315 advance feels like a 245 advance, right? It takes like 20 to 30 seconds to get across the map to find your opponent. But if you put a forward temple down, all of a sudden the Valkyrie's in your opponent's base, getting damage done. And then all of a sudden, ouch. Lots of villagers falling. But this fast Dwarven Armory, this fast villagers here, always going to be nice here. But you are playing up against the fact that your opponent is also getting extra economy here as well. So it's not like one player is really in front of the other player with this opening. It's both an economic approach. Both players are going to be enjoying that. As Forseti, they've got a choice for Grass. And Kimo here, I could be wrong. But it looks like Kimo is going for a town center, which it might not be. It might be something else, but it looks like it's a town center, and I don't know I mean, I don't mind this town center over here. It's got a nice hunt. It's got a gold mine. You can put sentinels here. You can get watchtowers. You can play a really nice defensive map here. Kimo, I mean, he's got a, in a way, Kimo's got to play for what he knows best. In a way. So he does grab this relic over here. Going to bring it back, Girdle of Hippolyta. In a way, he's got to play for what he knows best. And what he knows best is the fast second town center defensive play. I know he's capable of playing one town center ideas as well, but this is what he knows best. And he's going to drop the town center. He's going to get that up, no problems here. We see a long house for grass, 2 long houses for grass. The town center takes 50 seconds to come through. Grass could potentially be over there and harassing this for a huge amount of value, but he also has to get his infrastructure up. So there's almost no risk to this. So an interesting game we're going to be seeing here. Now, the question here is, will Grass go, there we go. Will Grass go for mass berserks, or is he going to try and mix in a range of units here? Now, opening up with a couple of berserks here isn't really a surprise. He can go straight for like 2 town center, 3 town center if he wants. He does have a house coming down over onto this settlement. He knows this one's coming up, but too little too late. Oop, the goats. Where are the goats going? Keep the goats over here. Town center will be up. No way to deny this one here. And from here, Kimo is going to attempt to grab those Aurochs behind him. He's got to be so careful here as he does zom this up. The Ursa trying to chase this in. You can't path block a Minotaur, but you can snare him. Has a little bit of damage to come through. Grass has already got the resource for his own second town center. It will be significantly behind Kimo's. And this is what Kimo wants. Kimo wants to play a really long game here. But the problem here is Grass is playing Thor. And Thor has got access to this god power. The Dwarven Mine. This god power is really, really good for these low gold maps. Once you hit the Heroic Age, that's an extra 3,000 gold. Once you hit the Mythic Age, that's an extra 6,000 gold. And it costs 50 favor, 100 favor, 150 favor, 200 favor. Now, on the one hand, this is really good for Thor. On the other hand, it means that the Hades player doesn't have to deal with any myth units, which is also really good. So, a little bit of give and take. But one thing that I know Kimo can do here, and maybe he knows about this, maybe he doesn't, maybe he doesn't care, and he's just going to go for the really powerful Hades army that just can't die, which is another angle, right? But you can go for Plentyvault. And if you get 2 Plentyvaults out and you get a nice, decent trade route, then all of a sudden it doesn't matter that you don't have any gold ones, and your opponent does. But maybe the best idea here is for Kimo is to just say, screw it. Let's just go for the unkillable unit composition, which is plagues, shafts of plague, archers, and all the other good stuff. As the Herser come through, oh, a little bit of a miss. Oh, and the relic gets stolen away there as well. That's Dar's Scepter. That's actually a really, really nice relic. Great snag there for Kimo. As Kimo, he's trying to scout around, trying to see what Grass is doing, trying to decide, do I need to build units? He gets the infrastructure down just in case. I love watching Kimo play. He's such an entertaining player because what he does is just so smart. He's not going to fall for anything. You're never going to catch him out because he's prepared to play his style. But if you take him into your style, he's prepared to defend that. As we see Longhouses coming down, the market up, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Heroic Age coming through very, very shortly here for Kimo. And as soon as Kimo is going to start getting out the Paspist, then all of a sudden these Berserks, these Throne Axemen, they're going to be a little bit more weak. Wow, and the raid to come through. A village, a dwarf kill on this side as well. As Grass is trying to just get a little bit away from that, and the Minotaur pulls back. That's huge there. That's absolutely huge there. Now, Grass is out on this gold mine already. Great Hall's coming down. There's really nothing here which Kimo can do. Grass is going up through Bragi. One of the most important things when playing this style of Thor is to get your technology Call of Valhalla on this map, right, with the 2 gold mines. Because then your Berserks are giving you an extra 1 favor per death. So all of a sudden you lose 50 Berserks and you get yourself a Dwarven gold mine. Obviously you're fighting as well, so you're getting damage done. You don't just want to delete them. But anyways, point still stands. And now the archery range is all the units coming through. I love the Apollo pick here over Aphrodite as well, if the game plan is to go for that unkillable army. You get yourself Sunray to boost your archers. You get yourself Artemis to boost your archers. Then all of a sudden, Peltast, Hypaspist, very, very powerful. As the Minotaur for Kimo, just poking its head in, seeing exactly what's getting built. He sees all the infantry. He does see one raiding cavalry as he heads in. Oh, he gets a big headbutt. No villager kills, though. As the Minotaur going to be retreating back. Those Hersa are now Speedy Hersa. As a heroic age is in for both players. But at the moment here, Grass doesn't have any real way, even with flaming weapons, to break through. If he wants to just right-click on the Townsend and click flaming weapons, maybe it'll work. But there's just so many buildings here for Kimo. He's putting the walls up over here, out of sight, out of mind. I love this. Houses over here for Grass, I'm also loving. So he's going to know when this Town Center gets grabbed. But nonetheless, he's setting up those defenses beforehand, so he's not going to have any problems with that. Meanwhile, the Dwarves, sneaking out over here. And Kimo, does he notice it is the big question. I think he does. Oh, he spots the villagers. He will show Grass that he sees this. But I don't think Kimo's really got anything that he can send over there. Losing that Minotaur. Underworld passage onto this position here. Absolutely wild. There's only a handful of villagers there. As the army coming around onto this side, looking to get some sort of an attack in, Kimo can just dive into the underworld and take that position as well if Flaming Weapons decides to come through here for Grass. He can literally abandon the position if he wants to. As the Sentinel gets sniped down, Grass is looking for somewhere to attack. Maybe the main base is a good idea here. Oftentimes that goes a little bit by the wayside. There is also a restoration as Kimo, he's just trying to hide in this spot. Great control from Kimo here as well, as Grass jockeying in the position, trying to find some sort of an angle, but there's nothing there. And now Grass says, okay, main base time. Let's go. Villagers pulling back. Watchtowers now queued up. But this is what Grass wants. Get Kimo out in the open here. Get a nice attack. Get a nice fight. Grass is missing upgrades. He doesn't have heavy infantry. He doesn't have heavy cavalry. There's nothing there. As one villager going to be falling down. Kimo retreating back for the time being. Going to be losing the Hypaspist. And we do see Sarissa, Bowsaw, heavy infantry now come through. I think Kimo's gotten everything that he needs here. He's defended. He's got the powerful army. He doesn't have full population yet, so he can't get too ahead of himself. And you don't want to get flaming weapons down in the middle of nowhere. But Kimo, he's getting a little bit angsty here. Realistically, his path to victory in this game is Artemis, right? I think. Does he have himself the upgrade for his Toxotes? No. It's not through just yet. He's about to have heavy archers. Thank you for the subscription there, Yeeterius. Appreciate the support, man. That's the army charging forward here. There are a lot of the hoplites there as well. Thanks for the 4 months, Einherjib. Thanks, man. Or is it Einherib? Nonetheless, the problem here for Kimo is he's a little bit short on population as the army to come through. Not the best of fights here for Kimo at all. As the restoration to come in, he might want to just use this to retreat away. The hoplites and the Hypaspist going to town on those infantry units, however. The raiding cavalry on the back doing huge damage. Flaming weapons is still coming through. Population differential is in for the favor of Kimo here, however. As the battle board to get taken down, it looks like Kimo absolutely dominates this fight here, and Grass has to pull back. That is the fight that Grass was looking for, out in the open with a population edge. But hang on. Kimo's got all the upgrades in the world here. There's no advantage for Grass. Grass is now on match point. Has some problems here. Kimo's got him getting himself a third town center. Kimo's got the underworld passage over here to get this position sorted. And now Grass is going to be 2 town centers versus potentially 4 town centers of Kimo, and he's behind on military. And he's behind on eco as well to add salt into the wound. So do see a hill fort coming through for Grass as he knows he needs to secure this position. The other thing here is Grass is about to run out of this gold mine. He doesn't want to be clicking Dwarven Mine at this point in the game. No siree. As Kimo going to pull back ever so slightly, a whole bunch of units to come through. A little bit of missed macro from Kimo, or potentially just thinking about going to the next age. As Kimo sort of diving forward, a little bit overzealous here. He pulls back as the raiding cavalry do manage to get a nice surround. There are a handful of trolls here as well that will need to get dealt with. This could be a good fight here for Grass, actually. Could be what he needs as the Ajax and the Achilles charging onto the back line here, trying to snipe these Deuterinos down. The Chiron absolutely huge. Nice control from Grass there, pulling those Toxotes with good micro from Kimo to notice that. As now the military differential very, very close, and Kimo has to pull back. I think Grass has found himself somewhat of a saving grace, however, where Kimo gives, Kimo takes. He says, have my army, but also I am now going to take Mythic Age. This gold mine over on this side is going to go over to Grass. This town center is going to go over to Grass. Oh, he pops back out with his army as the troll's getting sniped down by Chiron. Kimo doesn't want to give up the underworld. He's got a nice front line of shades here. Doesn't really have that many units. The Chiron snipes down that final troll over there. And more units are just going to be pumping in. This is... What are these guys doing? A little bit of a miscue there, or whatever you want to call it, as the first of many, I'm sure, Dwarven mines to come through for Grass. Now let's take a quick little stock of exactly what's going on here. Grass has got himself 0 economy upgrades. Are you kidding me? What? Hello? Kimo on the other hand, he's missing himself shaft mine, but he's got himself carpenters, he's got himself irrigation. What? Meanwhile, walls coming up on this side here for Grass. We've got the Great Halls to come through, the Hill Fort as well. Settlement will finish up here. Now all the dwarves making the great migration up to the top side of the map. I wouldn't mind seeing a whole bunch of villagers going onto favor here at this point for Kimo. He's going to be able to get himself all of those champion upgrades immediately. Earthquake into the main town center potentially to knock off this dwarven mine as well. The houses on this position going to be getting cleaned up here. All the hoplites to come through. Look at the resources. Kimo says, I don't care about your military. He says fundamentals, fundamentals, fundamentals. He goes straight into carpenters, flood control, and quarry, as well as getting himself coinage to start his trade route. But he's got to be careful here. The earthquake gets dropped down. Town center going to go down, but no real significant damage to anything. He's got to be careful because once he runs out of this gold mine, he needs to have that trade route full throttle here. So he needs to not lose any units, in other words. Because once he gets to fully upgraded Hades army, there's almost nothing that Grass can do as the Thor player. He will have the infinite economy, of course, but the army is just powerful. Villagers on this side falling as well, as it looks like just the chaos here. A couple of villagers coming in onto this position as well, potentially for what? To sack? I'm not sure what the reason is. Maybe buildings? There's some Petropolis also in for Kimo. Town center coming through for Grass. Grass does have a fully populated army. Hoplites getting caught out. These are the sort of wins that Grass absolutely needs here. Is this town center on this position going to be going down? Fortress on the way. 30 seconds here. Kimo, though, with fully upgraded champion, infantry champion archers, fully upgraded archers to boot. Chimera to help. The trolls, however, could be it. They do get a huge amount of damage there, but good reaction from Kimo to dodge with the majority of his dudes there. Achilles to come in. We've got the Chiron in as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see Perseus in at any point in the future. As one last fight, it looks like for Grass. Can he make it happen here? As the raiding cavalry pulling back over onto that side, but the army is looking like it is melting. Kimo's population staying steady at 215 pop. Grass's population falling incredibly quickly here. As the raiding cavalry falling as well. And what else? What else can Grass do at this point? But tip his hat to the master, King Kimo. An absolutely insane performance today. He slipped up in game number 1, but every game after that, he played into his style. He played into his bag of tricks. He takes the win. He takes the series, and he is going on to the semi-finals for EGC TV's Clash of Immortals $10,000 tournament. What a game here from Kimo. What a series here. I don't know what else to say. Grass going to have to pull himself back through the losers bracket. It's never easy. Never easy to do that. He's still got a lifeline in this tournament. Kimo's holding on to his 2 lifelines here. He shows you can't let him get away with these sorts of situations. He plays his game style. He plays his game plan. Look at these buildings, and he just plays it so obscenely well. What more can I say that hasn't already been said? If you guys enjoyed this game, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you subscribe if you're really enjoying it. We're going to be moving into the next series when the players are ready. See you in the next one.